Hello, Fight Club. How you doing? Yeah. All right, so we have a very special guest today. It's a guy that fought for me in WEC. Obviously was my champion there. He's now come over to the UFC, beat Jim Miller, Frankie Edgar twice, and Nate Diaz. So this guy's a great fighter. Before I bring him out though, we have a quick piece we'd like you to watch.
You guys came today on Wednesday. It's my day to go pick up comic books at Drawn to Comics.
Hey, man.
Hey, how's it going? Good. I have a box there, so every couple of weeks I get a couple new issues. When it's time, I just go pick them up and enjoy them. I collect regularly Uncanny X-Force every month. And then the limited series right now, Avengers vs. X-Men, A vs. X. Science fiction is not true yet, but then it becomes science fact 20 years later, 30 years later. Same thing for UFC, capoeira kicks, front push cheap kicks to the face, Anderson Silva style, you know, all that stuff is fantasy. It can't really happen. And then you have guys who go out there and are phenomenal athletes and they make it into a fact. If I had to place Marvel characters for the UFC champs, Dominic Cruz would have to be Quicksilver. He's very fast, he's very quick, in and out, moving up really quickly. Anderson Silva, he's the spider. He weaves his web and then boom, he strikes and guys fall down just like that. John Jones would be Mr. Fantastic just because he's so long, he's Stretcher Armstrong. You don't think he's going to hit you, all of a sudden he's hitting you from that far away. If there's a comic book of my life right now, we're just getting started. We're just getting to the good stuff. I think we got done with the foreword, got done with maybe the first intro chapter, maybe the second chapter or so, first few issues. But we're about to go on a nice long run, and we're going to have a lot of cool stories. And with me defend the belt for the 20th time and then getting beat up by some 19-year-old punk. Until then, I'm going to have a nice long journey, and I'm going to enjoy the process. I'm going to enjoy the journey.
Microphones set up in the audience. This is for the fans. You guys can ask me anything you want. I also want you to know that Ben just came from a trip from Indonesia, Japan and Seoul. He came straight here to talk to you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, Ben Smooth Henderson.
We were born out of alignment, the perfect time, and it's now to check for a pulse. If you ain't rock volume, how you born to be buying swing?
Yes, it is. How's it going, guys? I was told not to touch this, not lean on it. So if I forget, guys, please remind me, because Burt Wasson will kick my butt. So we're doing a couple of questions. I hear, like I did just get back from Jakarta, Tokyo, 3 days. And then I did Indonesia, Jakarta, for another like 2 days, 3 days. And then I did Seoul for another 2 days. I'm here for 2 days, and I'm finally back home. So I am a little bit jet lagged, a little bit tired. I hope you guys forgive me. But let's get to it. You guys got some questions, so let's go.
Hey, Ben. My name is Chris, and I'm a big fan. And thank you for coming, because I know how busy your schedule's been, and I know you have to go back to Arizona tomorrow for the MMA Lab stuff. But
you know.
Yeah, my question is, you're fighting Gilbert Melendez on April 20th. I want to know what strengths do you see that maybe cause a concern, and what holes do you think you can expose?
Yeah, Gil and I are going to throw down April 20th in, where's it at?
San Jose.
San Jose, I heard. So it should be a fun one. It's going to be good. A lot of times what it's about is like stylistically, how styles match up. Sometimes when you're throwing down and the guy's more elusive, it's hard to get a hold of him, doesn't come forward as much, so it's hard to have it be an action-packed fight. Nate and I, you know, his style of fighting, my style of fighting, it was a more fun fight to watch. More fun for me, more fun for you guys. He walked forward, I walked forward, we saw who the better man was that night. Gil and I is going to be the exact same way. Gil's, he's pretty good, he's pretty skilled. I don't know if you guys know that or not. But he's been fighting for a long time. He's been like what, top 2, top 3 in the media guys, the fans and whatnot, like top 2, top 3 in the world. So it'll be fun faced off against him. As for any holes, I haven't really, like I watched him as a fan, like just watching MMA like you guys, you know, I've seen his fights, but I haven't really started breaking down in his fights. I only watched the fights one time. to break it down. Then my coach, John Crouch, he's the one who does that, like watches every day obsessively and sees any holes. We haven't even begun that stage yet. I know, Gil has heavy hands, a good wrestler, does takedown defense very well, takes guys down and stays on top. Doesn't do a whole lot of jiu-jitsu, more just ground and pound when he's on top. But I don't know, it should be a fun fight. If you have any holes, if you know of any weaknesses, go ahead and shout me out. Let me know what they are later on.
All right, I'll tweet you.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
And
How's it going?
good, good. I have a question about this this Pettis thing that you have when he kicked you off the fence. You want to put that to bed, right, one day and just whoop him down, right?
Well, we all have to move past things in life. I move past it. I'm comforted at night with some gold around my waist. But him and we will face off. I said it from the very beginning. He keeps on winning. We do our jobs.
Yeah.
He keeps on winning. I keep on winning. We will face off in the cage again. He won last time, right?
Yeah, well, you've seen him against Cowboy.
I didn't see it. He won, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Cowboy won. He keeps on winning. I keep on winning. We're going to match up again. And they say, a picture's worth 1,000 words. When I heard that, was it official that he gets the next title?
Well,
has it been said? Does anybody know?
I think
Kinda,
so.
sorta. Yeah, kind of, sort of. Maybe he gets a title shot next again. But whenever we do face off again, a picture worth 1,000 words, I'll give you it.
Right on, man.
Hey, Ben. Right here, buddy.
Hey, Ben, you've always been known for your classic 5-round battles, whether it be Donald Cerrone or Frankie Edgar. I was wondering what, if anything, you changed leading up to the Nate Diaz fight, or if it was just style meets style and you dominated them from round 1 to round 5.
I think the Nate Diaz fight really was more about just kind of stylistic matchups. With Frankie, I think a lot of times when Frankie fights, it's tends to be more decisions. Close stylistically, he's hard to do that,
Yeah,
but,
I completely agree.
Yeah, but Nate and I didn't really change anything up. I fought Nate, pretty much the same way I fought Frankie. Obviously, game plan a little bit different, but I, fought the same way. It was just stylistically, Nate and I were much more fun to watch than, otherwise.
I completely agree. And on a side question, I was wondering if you had a prediction for tonight's or for tomorrow night's main event.
That's Aldo and Edgar prediction. I'm going to go with WC Never Forget. I'm going to go with Aldo. Officially. I just think that dropping down, like a lot of times, like old school wrestling, me coming from my wrestling background, old school wrestling, the mindset is always you will do better at a lower weight class. Drop as much weight as you can. At a lower weight class, you'll be bigger and stronger and tougher, and you'll smash everybody, Hulk smash everybody, That's not exactly the case, though. Like in actuality, in all reality, every time you drop down a weight class, as evidenced in a few other guys or whatever, you don't always just get better and smash everybody when you drop a lower weight class. What advantages you had at a higher weight class, you had speed, you had agility, you had some of those stuff in your favor, and then you lose that when you fight a lower weight class. Some of those guys are going to be quicker than you. You might be stronger than them, but they're going to be quicker than you. So there's always pros and cons to going up and down weight classes, that sort of stuff. I don't think there's going to be as dramatic impact. Aldo's a big, strong dude. Yeah. Next one. I don't know who's next. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think you're wrong about Aldo, though.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion, I don't begrudge anybody's opinion. Yes, sir.
But I just want to know who's your biggest influence in the fight.
In fighting?
Right.
My biggest influence in fighting, probably my biggest influence in life would be the man upstairs, for sure. My mama, she's a pretty big influence, too. All of our parents, most of all our parents are pretty big influences on us.
Thanks.
Hey, Ben. So I was just wondering, besides the toothpick, do you have any other rituals or routines or something that you like to do to get into the zone before a fight?
No, I actually try to specifically stay away from having any rituals or any superstitions like, I have to have these socks on going into a fight. I have to eat this sort of a meal going into a fight. Because anytime someone has like that and then it doesn't work out, like, I'm screwed, I'm going to lose because I didn't have my whatever it is, yogurt, strawberry Dannon yogurt before the morning. Like, I like to stay away from that, so I specifically try and always mix things up just so I don't have an excuse. Oh, I lost because of this reason. I lost because, my toenails weren't painted the right color pink, something like that. Like, guys have crazy stuff. College wrestlers have some crazy stuff, but I always try to stay away from that.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, of course.
How you doing, Ben? My name is Louis. First time I ever watched you fight was actually the first time I ever watched WEC was actually one of your fights when you fought Donald Cerrone for the interim title. And then you had the little standoff with Jamie Varner. That was actually the first time I watched it. And I know that like MMA, they constantly evolve and you have to evolve your game. And I know the last time when you fought Nate Diaz, you said one of your biggest problems was trying to keep your anger under control. And you've been working on that. But you obviously did very well against Nate, but what would you say right now would be the biggest problem, not to give it away for your future opponents, but what would you say is your biggest problem that you work on when you're in the gym?
Good question. I would probably say still the biggest thing I work on as far as like technique-wise is, of course, my boxing. I think I'm a pretty good wrestler, jiu-jitsu guy, grappler, and stuff like that. Working my Muay Thai, my kicks, coming along pretty good. My boxing, still work on boxing every day. I'm in there every day working my boxing, but probably my biggest weakness as far as like skill set wise is my boxing. Pretty good though, not too bad. Improved from back in the day, but that would be my biggest like skill set problem. As far as mentally, the biggest thing I have, I don't know about mentally anymore. There's always something to work on. There's always stuff to work on. But I don't know on that one. I'll have to get back to you on that. I'm not sure.
All right, I can give you my email address so you can just send it to me.
All right, I got you, man. Or hit me up.
Right.
Follow me on Twitter and hit me up.
All right.
Hey, Benson, you're a Mojo guy. Talking about John Crouch earlier, I just kind of wanted to know a little bit of like what it took to not go into law enforcement, the risk you took, I think, in Denver and then following him to Glendale. Can you talk about your relationship with him and how he's kind of a big part of your success?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. John Crouch is one of my best friends. Love the guy to death. He's been my head MMA instructor, head coach at the MMA lab, since I started fighting. My very first actual MMA stuff I started doing was underneath him. He's a great guy. The biggest thing I think for all of the fighters looking to make it big and all the amateurs looking to go pro and stuff, I think the biggest thing you want to look for in a coach is a guy who admits he doesn't know it all. If you go to a guy, oh, I know everything, I know exactly what I need to do to make you a champ, I have it down to a science, I know everything already. Like, really? You know everything already? Like, I gotta call BS on those kind of guys. John Crouch admits, I don't know everything. Let's figure it out. We'll work it together. So I love him for that. A great eye for detail. What you guys don't know, funny, he's like 17-time national champion for marching band. Yeah, he's a marching band coach. Like, who knew that? But he's a great, that's because of his eye for details. He's putting guys on the right spot, designing their set or whatever. But he's amazing at that, amazing eye for detail. And that's what I think, personally, of course I'm biased, but I think that's what sets him apart from all other MMA instructors, is you have so many guys who say, oh, I know everything there is to know about boxing. I know everything there is to know about jiu-jitsu. I know everything there is to know about MMA. John says, I don't know everything. Let's figure it out. We'll work on it. He doesn't just try and mold you into his style. Not like all the fighters who come to our gym. He says, oh, well, now you did it that way before. Now you do it this way. We're changing it up and we're going to make it like this. Like he allows you to do what you do and try and make the way you do things as efficient as possible.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, Ben, after you beat Nate Diaz, a lot of people said that was the blueprint for GSP to beat his brother. Do you agree with that? And would you approach fighting Nick the same way you fought Nate?
I would probably approach fighting Nick as the same way I fought Nate. I probably have to mix it up a little bit because they have 5 rounds of film to watch, so you have to probably mix up a little bit, change some things around. As far as St. Pierre against Nick, I think St. Pierre and I are pretty well versed in the same sort of facets of MMA. He's a pretty good wrestler. I'm a pretty good wrestler. Pretty decent hands, timing on shots, all that sort of stuff. So I think he could use that game plan if he wanted to. He'd be pretty decent at it. He's pretty good at that skill set. Yeah, just a little bit. But who knows if he actually will or not? But could he? I think he probably could use that game plan to his advantage.
All right, thanks, man.
Yep.
What's up, Ben?
How
Do
you doing,
you
brother?
think that Gil Melendez deserves a title shot, or do you think that maybe Anthony Pettis deserves a title shot above him over his last victory that he just had?
I think that whoever deserves the title shot is who Dana White says. We all know how the UFC works. It's no. You guys know how it is, right? There's no sort of semblance of like it's whoever Dana says, that's the guy who it is. As far as me personally, I don't really care. It can be Gil, Anthony, Gray, Joe, Eddie. Line them up. Let's go.
One last question. What are your thoughts on Eddie Alvarez? I know he's having the problems getting into the UFC. If he gets into the UFC, on him.
I hope Eddie makes it to UFC. It'd be great to have him over. He's a tough fighter. Actually, I'm a pretty big fan of Eddie. I love his fighting style. He gets clipped a little bit too much in all his fights. He gets clipped at least once. He gets dropped at least once. So you might want to fix that. As far as like he exchanges wildly, and he's fine doing it. I'm like, who am I to say? He's a great fighter. He's a ex-world champ and all that. So he's awesome. I'm a pretty big fan of his. But that being said, it'd be great to have him over in the UFC. He would definitely up the level of competition. As a fighter, just most things in life, whatever, you want to face the best. You want the best guys in your practice room because the better guys in the practice room raises the intensity of their practice, raises the skill level in your practice room. The same thing for fights. The better fighters we have, the more accomplished fighters we have in the UFC, the better it is. That being said, the UFC has the deepest and the best lightweight class on the planet, period. We have the top 15 guys in the world all fight for the UFC.
Thanks.
Yep, of course. No question. No question. No question. Am I supposed to dance now for you guys? To entertain you? No. Long hair don't care. As a fellow guy with long hair, what kind of product do I use in my hair? I go with Dove. Yeah.
Hey, Ben. Just wondering, how much do you weigh right now?
How much do I haven't checked my weight in a while, but because I had the whole last week over the there's a scale. I don't think I want to step on the scale right now. I purposely not stepped on the scale for like the past 2 or 3 weeks because I'm a little bit chubby. But yeah, I think the last time I stepped on the scale, like before the week before I left, I was like 77.3 or something like that. To answer your question.
Ben, how are you?
Good. How you doing, sir?
Good. I bet you're tired from that trip, right?
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you from me to you that you give it out to the Lord, that you give the credit to the Lord. And I want to ask you, how do you use your faith to train for the fight, the next fight? Can you explain that?
Yes, sir. Well, thank you very much, first of all. I appreciate that for sure. As far as using the Lord, how do I, for my training, how I use it in my training, I say I use it just in life in general. Like, you need the Lord in everything you do. It's not just training. I need him just for, just to help this or just to help this. I need him for everything. Me personally, some of you guys might be different. You might be perfect. Me, I'm not perfect. I need him in everything I do.
That's right.
As far as getting up, waking up in the mornings, going to go train. I mean, we're going to go get, literally, like you guys go to work, you have a hard day at work. I go to work, I get punched in the face. I get kicked. I get choked out. It's hard to wake up and go do that, so I definitely rely on him for my strength, rely on him for my, just encouragement, keep on fighting that good faith and that sort of stuff. So I rely on him for everything, though. It's pervasive throughout my life. It's not just in fighting.
Right.
And that being said, I don't like to bring it up. I don't like to talk about it too much because there's a lot of those Christians who are like super in your face and, oh, you gotta believe what I gotta believe, and oh, you better do this. I don't want to be in your face about it. I don't want to constantly bring it up and tell you have to believe what I believe. I actually couldn't care less if you don't believe what I don't believe. It doesn't matter to me. Like, it's cool, That's
right.
But that being said, I like to portray Christ more through what I do, through my actions, not just through talking about it. So I don't like to talk about it too much. When people bring it up, I love talking about it, but I don't like to bring it up too much. I don't like to talk about it too much, but just in my daily actions, how I live my life, my walk more.
Well, thank you for bringing it up every time you fight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, Ben.
How you doing, boss?
Not bad. This might be track territory. You probably answered this before, but I was just curious what this is. How you throw that up all the time?
The question is this. That actually comes from my gym, John Crouch. He's very proud of his lineage. He has over 100 classes, 200 classes with old man H.E.A.T before he passed away. Okay. He lived at the Gracie Academy in California, trained with the Hoist, Horian, H.E.A.T, all those guys. So he's very proud of his lineage. He's very proud of getting a black belt from Hoist Gracie. A lot of these guys, you know, got their black belt from a guy who 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 got their black belt from Hoist Gracie or whatever, you know. Like he's one step down. It was H.E.A.T, Hoist, these guys, John Crouch. He got his black belt from those guys. The old school Gracie's symbol is a triangle. That was their symbol for the original gym. And so now every Gracie affiliate, every gym that affiliates themselves with the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu uses a triangle and then some sort of like rhinoceros running through it, or they do something slightly different to show that it's their gym. Okay. So John Crouch, his, actually don't have, I'm not wearing one of them. But yeah, John Crouch, my guy, my coach, his Gracie symbol, and then he has like a jigsaw puzzle. So the triangle is for my gym, Gracie's lineage, and Holy Trinity, Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
All right, thanks, Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious what your walkout song is and why do you choose it?
My walkout song is Awesome God by R. Swift. I choose it just because it hypes me up. It gets me ready in the right, I guess, mental frame of mind. It gets me like, you know, kind of just excited, loose, nice and relaxed, excited to go out there and, you know, inside that octagon and go perform, go do my thing, you know.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Hey, Ben, thanks for coming here.
Of course, no problem.
Being such an avid comic book fan, do you do anything, play any role into the designs of the logos of your T-shirts?
I did on the very first T-shirt, I think.
The
one that,
band, the gray one, right?
The brown or slightly tan one. I designed that, helped design the back. I actually had a great time doing it, but I think that sold the least. And so they said, yeah, you don't get to do anymore. I don't know, but since that first one, I haven't helped design anymore. But it would be cool if I could help design, you know, some of my next shirts.
That's cool. And how exactly do you keep the toothpick in your mouth, even for fights and stuff like that for so long?
It's just a bad habit, you know. I kind of did it when I was younger in high school, in college. I would have it in. I start, you know, roughhousing with my boys, start wrestling around. It would still be in. I'd get ready to go to practice, and I forget I have it in. I just go through wrestling practice, and I have it in. I, you know, segued into my MMA career, so I, you know, have it in when I do my training and stuff. I probably shouldn't. One of these days I'll probably pay for it, but I've survived so far.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Cool. Reed's coming up to save me. Oh, we got one more question over here.
Sorry, I got one more question. Since we're here for Super Bowl Sunday, who's going to win, Baltimore or San Francisco?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I think on that one, I'm going to go with San Francisco. I think I'm going to go with San Francisco. But I think it's going to be I think it'll be a great game. It's going to be fun to watch.
Hey, I just had one more question. I remember reading somewhere that you went from training at the gym to now owning it. What has that process been like, and how do you think it differs from starting out there to where you are now?
Okay, cool. Yeah, when I first moved to my gym, my coach's friend had a gym in Arizona, and he knew my coach, John Crouch, had a couple of fighters, some really tough, you know, talented younger fighters who are working their way up. One day going to be in the UFC, all that sort of stuff. So, he had a gym, but no fighters, no trainers, no coaches, no anything. So he asked my coach, John, if he would be willing to fly out, check the place out. If he liked it, move his whole family down, move some of his fighters down, and relocate to the Phoenix, train out of the gym. So they flew me down. I got to check the place. It's a pretty nice, I'm a little biased, but a pretty nice, like, state-of-the-art facility, super clean. They flew me out, paid for my hotel, and told me, oh, yeah, all you got to do is, mop the mats, clean the toilets, clean up that sort of stuff. I had to do it twice a day. And then, you can train as much as you want, train for free and all that stuff. So I was like, wait, you're going to fly me out here, pay for me to fly out here, give me, a couple bucks to make sure I'm taken care of, sponsor me so I can train full time. I have access to all the coaches around the clock, access to this, state-of-the-art facility. I was like, where do I sign up at? Like, heck yeah. But yeah, so I started out for the first, 2 years, mopping the mats, cleaning the toilets. I'd have practice in the morning, 9 to 12 or so. I'd have to clean the toilets, mop the mats, do all that stuff in the afternoon on my lunch break. I'd train again at night, and then I have to clean again at night. And I did that for 2 years, freaking cleaning toilets and mopping mats and getting better at my MMA game. And I was able to buy the gym about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. A year ago, almost exactly a year ago. I was able to buy the gym from the old owner. So it was nice to go from mopping mats to being the owner. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. Actually, I have two. First, who's your favorite comic book superhero? And secondly, when you were a kid, like when you were growing up, did you always intend on becoming a professional fighter, or what did you want to be when you grew up?
Okay. Cool. First question. Favorite comic book hero? It's like having your favorite book. It always changes, always differs and stuff. But one of my all-time favorites, one of the guys I always loved the most was Nathaniel Dayspring as Kenny's son, Cable. I always loved Cable. Great storyline, great character. They've done an excellent job with him. So I'd say Cable, X-Force. I like X-Force a lot, but he's definitely one of my all-time favorites. And then the other one was, what would I be doing if not fighting?
Well, when you were a kid, like, did you intend to be a professional fighter? What did you want to be?
When I was a kid, I never thought about fighting. I was never a Terry Tough Nuts, Billy Badass type of guy. I was like, yeah, we're humans. I like to use my words to solve my problems. I don't want to be a fighter or nothing like that. It's not fight. So I never had any intentions of being a fighter. I never even once crossed my mind. What I wanted to do was be a police officer. In my neighborhood growing up, police officers weren't like super cool. It wasn't like nice to like the cops and stuff like that. But everyone who talk crap about cops, oh man, forget about cops, boo boo boo, and all want to talk crap about cops and all that. But as soon as something bad happened, like they got jacked or whatever, what was the first person to call? 911. So I just thought it was funny. All my friends, all the people doing not very good things, in my old neighborhood, not the greatest place, all talk crap, all say this, oh man, forget cops, forget this, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Something bad happens, someone breaks into the house, the first person they call, cops. So I just thought it was always funny. I always had a lot of respect for police officers. So that was my dream job growing up. I wanted to be a police officer. And then I wasn't until after my first fight, I fought, I won, I kind of fell in love. I was like, oh, this is a cool feeling. This is pretty awesome. Then I decided to try and be an MMA fighter, as a career.
Cool.
Cool.
Hey, Ben, I'm a big fan.
Thanks, buddy.
Can you sign my belt right now?
Sure, why not?
Thanks.
So I'm going to ask a question. So watching you fight over the years, I've seen you get out of some really tight spots. And for those of us who do jiu-jitsu, we wonder, are you double jointed? Or, because truly, I've seen you in some, I think an arm bar one time that I thought it was over. and I think you know which one I'm talking about. And so tell the crowd a little bit about that.
Yeah, as far as how jiu-jitsu goes and my jiu-jitsu defense, I guess I am a little bit more flexible. I have a little bit of more natural give in my joints and arms or legs or whatever, So that definitely plays a part into it. But I think the bigger part that plays into it is actually knowing the moves, knowing jiu-jitsu in and of itself. You know each position, know the dangers. If I'm getting choked in a triangle, arm triangle, head triangle, like whatever it is, his leg or arm, something's cutting off this side of my neck. My arm is cutting off this side of my neck. All you need to do is make a small adjustment. Tilt your head one direction this way, like 10 degrees this direction. Your arteries, again, clear. You're good to go. You can breathe. But it's about staying calm, relaxed. Like a lot of times when guys roll, they roll so hard, they start breathing through their mouth. Like when you roll, when you do any jiu-jitsu or whatever, try just breathing through your nose. Like stay relaxed enough where you're just breathing through your nose. As soon as you start breathing through your mouth, you're too worked up, you're too excited. Guys hold their breath and they go crazy. Like stay relaxed, know the position. Oh, okay, I'm here. I gotta do this. I gotta do this. And when you roll with better guys, say you're a white belt, you roll with a brown belt or purple belt, they're gonna know more than you. Yeah, sure, of course, they're gonna know more than you. But every time you roll, instead of just going crazy, I get caught in an arm lock. Oh man, that was tough. That was fun. That was a crazy roll. How'd you get caught? I don't know. My arm got stuck. It was crazy. He got my arm. And then go again. Let's go again. Like if you stay relaxed, you stay calm, and you oh, I did this, and then I did this, and then he did this, and then he did some weird thing, he did this, and then he caught my arm. If you can break it down into those 5-step process, and then he ended up catching this. You explain it to your coach, your instructor. Fredson Paxal's a great coach, a great instructor. He can tell you, he can give you the instructions on how to stop that. Okay, well he did this. All you need to do is turn your head this way or turn out this way, and you would have been just fine. So it's about staying calm, staying relaxed, and knowing the finer details, the details of jiu-jitsu, each position, each hold.
I didn't know you were supposed to breathe through your nose, man.
That's the trick.
See, I just learned something. All right, so what are you driving now?
My dream car, as always, I was never a big, flashy guy. I never wanted a Lamborghini or Maserati or
this is funny, by the way, so pay attention.
My dream car was not a white. My dream car was a 96 Bronco, just not a white 96 Bronco. Yeah. So when I was able to, I got the first.
Listen, I think when he told me that, I lowered what I was going to pay him.
I got my first huge paycheck for me at the time, huge, awesome money, my first paycheck from the WC. I was like, oh, I'm going to go get my dream car. And I'm rolling it still now to this day. I got a 96 Bronco.
Yeah. What color is it?
It's not white, it's red.
For those of you that don't remember the O.J. Simpson thing, that's why he's referring to the white.
For those who don't remember, you youngsters.
So you got a fight coming up. When are you going to start your camp?
Yep, fight's April 20th, coming up against Gil.
I mean, you're in camp all the time anyway, right?
Yeah. The thing is with me, a lot of guys have 12-week training camps, 8-week training camps. They go for extended amount of time. I'm in my gym, 3 times a day now. I practice in the mornings for my strength conditioning. I got private, so I'm still in the gym now. I just don't train as intense. A lot of these guys just take off 2 months and don't do any training. I'm in the gym every single day, so I only do 5-week training camps. Those 8 weeks, those 12 weeks, that's a long time. You get beat up, and then plus I'm in the gym all the time, so I don't need 4 weeks just to get back in shape.
I don't think you've ever missed a fight, right? From an injury?
Never missed a fight from an injury.
And also, so talk a little bit about the difference when you say intensity, because I've heard that you fought for me on a Saturday and you were back in the gym on Monday.
Yeah, I've done that a couple of times. The thing I think with there was a lot of injuries last year, right? A lot of injuries for the UFC last year and stuff. The key is to train at the correct intensity. So when I'm not in training camp, I do practices 3 times a week or 3 times a day, sometimes 4 times a day. But the intensity is not 80-90%. The intensity is 50, 60%. I'm still practicing, still training, still working my butt off, but it's 50, 60%, and I'm working my brain. I'm learning the technique behind stuff. My boxing coach, you want to make sure you step to this direction to make sure your outside is lead leg. I'm not just going there super hard, working up a sweat. I want to actually learn something. That's the thing of jiu-jitsu, boxing, MMA in general. You want to learn the technique behind it. You want to know about it, not just go in there and throw crazy, throw hard. So to keep the intensity down, and then during training camp, then you can turn it up. During training camp, then I turn the intensity up to 80, 70, 80%, and go harder, go longer, that sort of stuff.
And then talk a second about the importance of your training partners And that, I believe, is also a reason why you don't get injured a lot, right?
Also, again, yes, absolutely. You got to have good training partners. You got to have guys you can trust. Some of these guys, they're just not as close. It's just like again, it is what it is. Like, who am I to say whether it's the right way or the wrong way? There is no right way. It's just how different ways people do things. For me personally, my gym, I want all my guys to be like my brothers. I want guys I can completely trust. If they had a bad day at work, you know, you have a bad day, and then you go into the gym and you're mad. You're, oh, that stupid boss. He said this or he did this, and he didn't acknowledge whatever, yada yada yada. And then you give me an arm lock and you yank just a little bit harder than you normally would, just because you're on a bad day. Now I'm at a you know, training camp. I'm out of practice for 6 weeks because you had a bad day at work. You know, that's what you don't want. You want to go to gyms, jiu-jitsu gyms, boxing gyms, Muay Thai gyms. You want to go somewhere where you can know the people, you can trust them, you have a good relationship with them. Not a bunch of tough guys walking around with their shirts off and, you know, all they want to do is squeeze on an arm as hard as they can just to prove that, oh, well, I caught him. Well, yeah, you caught me, but now I'm out. I can't practice for freaking 6 weeks. I miss out on a paycheck. So that's very important to make sure you have good training partners, just good guys at your gym in general.
Thanks. And then next question to you.
Hey, Ben, how's it going? I just recently graduated from massage school, and the first day of school, they had us write what our goal was, what we wanted to do, where we wanted to work. And I wrote that I wanted to work on UFC fighters, and I don't have my license yet. It's still coming, but I've been talking to some of the guys, and they tell me to go to some of the local gyms. And I was just curious, do you receive massage before fights and during camps? And if you do, what type of massage? And a lot of the guys that I talk to, they don't like to receive sports massage right before because they feel that it relaxes them and they don't want to be relaxed during the fight. But I was just curious on what you...
Yeah, of course, absolutely. No, it was a good question. For me, I know a lot of guys. They do get massages. They get they need them. Like, you get so beat up in practice throughout the week and stuff. Like, guys need a good massage. I've only ever had, I think, like 3 or maybe 4 professional massages. So I don't get massages. We do have a lady at our gym who does provide massages. She does our gym and stuff. It's good. I actually do like it, but I think it's one of those things. How people always say, like, oh, you gotta stay hungry. You can't lose that drive, desire to be the champion now that you're blah blah blah. Like, you have to stay hungry. For me, I guess one of those small things. Maybe I shouldn't do it. It's like a superstition, I guess, on my part, is like not getting a massage. I want to stay tough and like, oh, I don't need a massage. Those are for, you know, wimps and stuff like that. So I try not to get a massage, but I probably should sometimes because I'm so beat up and so sore. I have to.
Yeah.
But no, I guess I don't really.
One of my teachers, he actually, they did a volunteer event, and he gave a massage to, I can't remember, it was a local event, and he gave a massage to the main card, and it was for a title, and the guy just came out, and he was really awake, really stimulated, really just like ready to go, and he ended up knocking the guy out in the first round, like 1 minute and 45 seconds. So I was just curious as to what you think, because
that's definitely cool. You know, maybe I need to get some massages before my fights and go get some knockouts. Maybe that'll help me get knockouts. You know, I'll give it a shot.
I'm thinking maybe the UFC executives could use some of that too. So maybe you can do it for us. All right.
When I get my license, man, I'd love to work for the UFC. I'm a huge fan. Thank you.
Thanks for the question, man.
Okay, we got time for one more question. Go ahead.
Are you happy with the drug testing?
I could go for a little more stricter drug testing. I wouldn't mind seeing that. My thing with the whole steroid things and whatnot, like, I understand part of a competitor's nature to always take whatever edge, take whatever advantage you can get on being the best. To that, I just say, if I'm facing a person, it happens in college wrestling. Sadly, it shouldn't, but it happens in college wrestling, steroids and whatnot. But if I know someone is mentally weak enough to take steroids, and oh, I need an extra edge, I need to do this, and they know it's illegal, they know it's wrong, and they do it. If you're so mentally weak, you gotta take steroids. Like me, 5 rounds in a cage with you, I will destroy you because you are mentally weak. You know, so I'm all for it. You want to take drugs, go ahead and take drugs. I don't really care, but I'm gonna whoop your butt because you are mentally weak, and that's where you win fights in the mental stage. If you're mentally weak enough to break down, I'm going to kill you.
But like, when they take blood from you, how much time before a fight will you let them take blood from you or urine?
I've never thought about it. Whenever Reed
Well,
says
yeah,
do a drug
it
test, I
happens
say
right,
yes.
sometimes right before the fight and right after the fight. They do a urine test, yeah. So, and it's not up to the fighters to.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
to
totally
judge
not up to me.
They pretty much have to do it if we tell them. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you that Ben Henderson is one of the best guys in the sport. It's an honor to know him. He's made me so proud of him. Ladies and gentlemen, Ben Smooth Henderson.
WEC, never forget.
I'll run some video for you here in a minute.